The opposition NDC in the Hohoe constituency has condemned a series of violent incidents that have plagued the registration exercise there. According to the Hohoe NDC constituency chairman, George Bright Anibansa, the violent incidents perpetrated by thugs and agents of the governing New Patriotic Party, as he alleges, is building up tension and may lead to turmoil. He also alleged the busing of non-constituents to apply for the voters' ID there. We can listen to him.
The MPP started their violent activities in the present registration exercise at Alavanyo when the General Secretary of our party, the NDC, Honorable Johnson Asiedu Nketia, we all know him as General Mosquito, visited the constituency to monitor the registration process. They besieged Alavanyo Kweme when the General Secretary was paying a courtesy call on the paramount chief of Alavanyo traditional area to attack the NDC because one of their own was made to delete pictures of the General Secretary he illegally snapped. The phase 2 of the registration exercise was never done without these MPP thugs beating up our party agents and prompters at 2 different registration centers, Pentecost Church polling station and MAGHS school polling stations, both at Huerta, being Huerta, where our agents were attacked and beaten to pulp. It is very unfortunate that these attacks happen in the full glare of police officers who just looked on and found no reason to arrest these hoodlums. One of such backward events led to the closure of the school session at Huerta MAGHS, where final year classes was going on. It is clear that our brothers and sisters in the MPP do not want us to contest the leadership race in Hohoe constituency in peace. We have evidence that their agents, prompters, are armed with knives, acid in syringes, cudgels, bars of crocodile to use in attacking our supporters. A few days ago, their own evil plan backfired on them. One of their numerous busing activities resulted in the attacks, beating up one of their own, by name Kenneth Agama from Ho. Kenneth Agama is one of their organizers involved in the mobilization of illegal busing of some unsuspecting youths from Ho to come and register onto the electoral roll of our constituency. We consider these happenings to be a dent on the image of our constituency. In all this, the police have not been proactive in arresting even a single soul because of order from above. We call on the leadership of Ghana Police Service in the Hohoe Divisional Command to investigate, arrest, and prosecute the perpetrators of these brutalities and heinous crimes against innocent citizens of Hohoe constituency. By this press statement, we are calling on those being bused to Hohoe to stay away from the registration exercise at Hohoe for their own safety. We say for their own safety, not because we will attack them, because they themselves will beat them just as they've beaten their own, as I have enumerated. NDC will not touch anybody. We are law-abiding citizens. We are also, by this press statement, calling on the chiefs and elders, CSOs, religious leaders, opinion leaders within the whole constituency to speak out now against these brutalities being meted out to innocent citizens of Hohoe constituency. The loud silence constitutes an endorsement of the criminal activities and attacks on individuals within the Hohoi constituency. They must not delay any further, but to speak now before the attacks get to them. For it will be too late for them to act.
Our correspondent Fred Kwame Asare joins me via Zoom with some more on this particular issue. Fred, tell us about this situation. The constituency chairman talks about busing of people to the area, among other allegations. Tell us about it. What do you know yourself?
Well, the Hohoi constituency, I think, is one of the constituencies that people are looking at in the Volta region as far as the 2020 general elections are concerned. It is the area where the energy minister, John Peter Murray, is contesting a former MCE, Professor Margaret Kweku. John Peter Murray is seeking to make history to wrestle the seat from the NDC. The NDC has actually occupied this seat since 1992. So the energy minister is seeking to wrestle the seat from the NDC this time around. But then since the start of the registration exercise, there has been concerns from the NDC in the area that the NPP have been passing people to the area to register. And then in the process, at some of the police stations, some agents of the NDC attempted challenging people who they think are not constituents or are not residents, but then they were passed outside the Hohoi constituency to come and register. So in the process, some NPC agents also decided to step in and then to prevent the NDC agents from challenging those people who they think are not constituents from Hohoi. So this somehow resulted in scuffle and then disturbances at some of the police registration centers. The MAJHS at Deep Delta is one example where an NDC agent wanted to challenge one applicant, but then the NPP agent didn't allow this. So it resulted in some misunderstanding, and then there was some scuffle there, and then it also led to the closure of the school on that day. So the NDC is saying that this, among others, are what the NPC is doing in the constituency, and then they are not very much happy with the development. To add to that, they also mentioned that there have been busing of people outside the Hohoi constituency to the area to come and vote. There are videos circulating where it counted about 5 coaches, 5 SPC intercity coaches around Beledu Bogame. They mentioned that this were some of the people that were back outside the constituency to come and register. They also added that when the incident happened, the violent incident, when they happened, they approached the police and then report the police. But then the police have not made any arrests to date. They said they have reported a couple of incidents to the police, but then none of the incidents or none of the police didn't act on any of the reports they lodged with them. So they are calling on the police to step in and then make the appropriate arrest persons that they reported to them and then also prosecute them. So basically, this is what is happening in the Hohoi constituency. But then generally, the registration exercise, as you say, has been ongoing peacefully, and then also majority of the people have already registered. So if you visit some of the centers today, you realize that the places are less busy as compared to when the exercise started.
Fred, I'm curious about what the MPP has been saying in response to these allegations against them. Obviously, we've been hearing a lot of these allegations and counter allegations. What's been the MPP's response to these allegations?
Well, at the moment, the MPP has not officially responded to these allegations of violence and then bashing. But then I take some information where I had explanations that some of these constituents, or the constituents that are being alleged to be passed outside the area to come and register, are actually residents or natives of the Hohoi constituency, but just that they live outside the constituency. So they this time around realized that it's time for them to come back home, come and register, and then participate in the exercise, the general election. However, they don't have means of transportation. So it is the party that is mobilizing the transportation for them, then bringing them down to come and register. To add to that, there are also some information that the NDC has realized that there are few people of Poho, and then also people are gradually moving from the NDC to the NPP, where they believe that the NPP parliamentary candidate has a developmental agenda, or a good developmental agenda for the constituency, and for that matter, he's development oriented. They mentioned that they have mobilized the construction of a stadium in Poho. They have also mobilized for some roads to be constructed in the municipality, and then also provided street lights in the entire municipality, among others. So the NDC is saying that the NDC realizing that the street is staring them in the face in 2020. That is how come they are targeting them with a violent attack, so that in case they eventually or they lose the general elections in 2020, they would mention that the NPP won the election through vote. So basically, that is what has been happening. But then, like I said earlier, the NPP has not officially responded to the allegations. I am told there will be a press conference tomorrow to address the issues raised by the NDC.
All right, Fred Kwame Asare is our Volta regional correspondent with those details.